On a whole nother level. Let's get it. Run it up. Check the scope. Money talk, money mo. Yeah. Make who say they with it. Kicking down the door. Run it up. Check the scope. Money talk, money mo. What? Make who say they with it. Kicking down the door. Let's go. And it's just the whole lane when I'm driving the machine.
What is going on, Heavy Pour? Late night Wednesday. We are live. Game 4 NBA Finals is at half, and I didn't see Spurs smacking the Knicks in the Garden. T. I mean, it is getting T. You mentioned it before it went live. You could hear a pin drop in the Garden right now. Let's get the whole crew in, and let's just roll right into it. Thought this was going to be a sweep, and the Spurs hold on a second, man. They get a crucial game 3. Game 4 seemingly was the swing game, right? You go back to San Antonio tied up. Knicks in a bad spot. You go back to San Antonio 3-1. Spurs in a bad spot. Knicks come out swinging hard. They have lost big leads in the past, though. But T, what are your thoughts early on in this first half of Game 4?
Those 2 fouls Cat got early. That was big, right? Because you, as well balanced as the Knicks are, you need Cat offensively, and when it's only OG and Brunson, like two people can't really get it done for you. You need a third, and they don't have one without Cat. I think that took a lot of wind out of their sails when Cat got those two fouls early. That and the fact that the Spurs just can't miss. Like every single one of them has hit a 3 at least. So or at least one.
When Vassell and Champagny are hitting, they're really tough the way that they can stretch the floor. And Champagny has not had a great playoff run early on, but he started to catch fire when it's important. Hammer, what side of the gambling line did you go? Did you lean Spurs or Knicks today?
Yeah, I took a Spurs today.
Always on the right side, it seems.
I try to be.
Always on the right side.
Yeah, try to be. I felt like we kind of talked about it a little bit, that felt like San Antonio kind of landed their best punch, and it wasn't quite good enough. But that team, they can figure some stuff out. They've got enough combination of experience, youth, enthusiasm, and coaching. I felt like Mike Brown just flat out coached the first couple games. Game 3 was a little closer, and the Knicks really were in a good place, and they just I won't say the wheels fell off, but they certainly got loose. And then tonight it looks like they've come all the way off. So Spurs have decided that this is going to be a series. Fire Mike Brown already. Yeah, he's already on the train. He's starting it. So Drew and I were Knicks in 6, and that's still very much in play.
Still alive.
But I'll be honest. It looks like San Antonio's got some stuff figured out because, keep in mind, the Knicks won by 10 one of their games, but San Antonio looks like an absolute freight train here tonight. So maybe they've unlocked something. Maybe they've got, they've seen something that they figured out and are exploiting. And to T's point, I mean, you can't really control, one of your key players gets in foul trouble. There's not a lot you can do. So be curious to see what they do second half, because Cat's got to be on the floor. The potential, finals MVP has got to be on the floor for the Knicks to have a legitimate shot to win. So, but credit San Antonio. They did not lay down, and they very easily could have. So credit to them, man.
Yeah. I didn't have the courage to stay on the show. I was we were talking about the teams in the finals going into Game 3 at work. And I was, just chopping up with guys at work, and I was like, the only thing that I could see swinging it back to the Spurs side was the thing that killed them in the first 2 games of the youth and inexperience that lost them 2 games. I think some of the more senior teams that get down 0-2 are calling the girlfriend and the spouse or whatever, like, hey, go ahead and set up the reservations for Cabo. This thing's over. We'll be on vacation a couple weeks. And, these cats are young enough to be like, hey, whatever, we can go win this thing. Like that inexperience or being youthful and naive, or like, let's just go win games. We lost these 2 games. These are all far. We can go and we're better than this team. We can win. and overcome the deficit. And they're doing the thing, man. I mean, T and I pick Spurs 6 and 7, and that's still very much in play. And I think it
absolutely
was
a
couple
absolutely
days ago.
is.
But I'm just glad we're getting this hasn't been a great game so far, but it would have been a shame for this to have been a sweep because the games have been so good so far.
Yes.
The first 3 games have been great. If we can get this to 7, I think everybody's going to be happy that we get extended basketball in this series being highly competitive so far.
Yeah, well, Adam Silver is definitely happy that we're at the place we're at because it was looking kind of grim for revenue for the NBA Finals. So,
yeah, Drew, what's your take, man?
Yeah, I think to your point about the youngsters, like they've never been in this spot before, and it actually might help them out being on the road and like going into MSG where they're just like, you know what, we got to all come together. We got to go in as one, play free, play fast, play physical. I mean, they've ramped up the physicality a lot since, in these last 2 games or I guess game and a half. But like 60% from the field, 54% from 3 on 14 makes as a team in the first half in this game. Crazy. Only 2 turnovers too. That's been the Spurs' problem in this series so far. A lot of turnovers, especially in crucial moments. Now, we probably won't get a crucial moment in this game with the halftime deficit. But I think now through 3.5 games, I think we're seeing it. Karl-Anthony Towns is the most important player in this series. The first 2 games, he was incredible. And the Knicks were playing, a certain style that was giving the Spurs matchups. He was guarding Wemby one-on-one very well. Was offensively giving Wemby some issues as well with his athleticism and the game that he could play with the outside and inside game. And last game, he didn't play his best. He didn't play awful by any means, but he wasn't elite like he was in the first 2 games. And then tonight, obviously, had to sit because of 2 fouls and, really hasn't got going in this game. Only 6 points, only 2 shots, 3 rebounds, 2 turnovers, 3 fouls in the first half. And the Knicks are down by a lot. So I think Karl-Anthony
and you look at – go ahead. You look at the first 2 games, Cat had a great game, like you mentioned. Brunson was very inefficient. Got his points, was very inefficient, but they win those 2 games.
Was really good at timely
in clutch.
Yeah,
very clutch. But then you go to game 3. Brunson has his best game of the finals. Him and Wemby going blow for blow, both 30 plus points, and they lose. Cat kind of disappears in that game. I agree with your take of Brunson's going to get his, but you got to find a way to force feed Karl-Anthony Towns to make this team actually go, because that's what unlocked this team in the playoff was Mike Brown turning to Cat, facilitating the offense, running it through Karl-Anthony Towns, that point center, and Brunson off ball instead of Brunson dribbling a lot, getting to the lane, fade away. We know he can do that, but to your point, Drew, let him do that in the fourth quarter when you need a bucket, not the first 3, and because he'll get 35, but you're going to lose. And right now, I'm not sure what his stat line looks like, but again, Brunson doing a lot of the work because Karl-Anthony Towns is off the floor, and it's resulting in a 20-plus point deficit at halftime.
Yeah, you're right. You're right about Castle, Joshy boy. I've been championing Castle the whole time. What was throwing people off was all his turnovers, was kind of overshadowing all the other stuff that he did. But yeah, Castle. I mean, honestly, that team is just comprised full of dogs. But I love Castle. He's my favorite player in the league right now. But Harper, man, Harper's he's closing in on that top spot for me though.
Yeah, the 8-man rotation for San Antonio are all positive plus minus, and all but one player is double digits plus. All 8 for the Knicks.
Is Cornette the only one who's not
negative? Let me look real quick. I had it.
And even if
I apologize, Johnson and Bryant both are plus 8 and 6 respectively. Cornette's actually -1. I didn't scroll down far enough. So, but the first 8, the 8-man rotation.
Yeah, but Cornette's not in there to have a positive plus minus. Cornette is in there spell Wemby defensively for 2 minutes here and there.
Elbow some people, pick up a couple fouls. He's right on track to do his job tonight. But
he's
everybody for the Knicks is double-digit minus. It's we talked about the efficiency. Everybody raves about Brunson, and I'm one of them. I think the guy's just off the charts good, but he's not always efficient, and so some of that kind of is a little misleading. And 6 of 14, not real efficient tonight. So
has he been pressing this series, particularly once he got back to New York in front of the home crowd, trying to bring him a ring for the first time? Is that why his efficiency is pretty bad right now?
Yeah, I think all the pressure was on the
first
Knicks.
2 games.
That's why I was on Spurs tonight, is because I think all the pressure's on the Knicks. They come to MSG. The president's there. They've got all these celebrities. This is the first finals they've hosted in over 20 years. And I think it just got to them. And then so they come out now, even more pressure to win.
And the Spurs woke up.
Exactly. So I think it's a combination of a lot of factors, along with the fact that the Spurs coming into this thing down 0-2, and they're playing with their hair on fire. Because at this point, you're down 0-2, you kind of have to throw caution to the wind and just go after it. And that's kind of what I was referring to. And then Drew, followed up on that, is a good combination of experience with veterans and youth, because you're right. These kids don't know what they're supposed to be afraid of or when they're supposed to be nervous. They're just out there playing ball, man. And the veterans are good enough to kind of keep everybody, grounded and focused on what they need to do. But it's, it's pretty amazing right now to see this score and to see some of these stat lines. The only thing that I don't know that's going to be a game turner when you're up, almost 30 points. But Castle's got 3 fouls. Fox and Harper both have 2. So that's going to be something to kind of keep an eye on second half. If those guys start getting in foul trouble, then we could see a Knicks run.
That is some growth that Castle needs to have. Like, he's a dog defensively, but he's got to learn how to watch some Drew Holiday tape or something. Like, you got to learn how to do that without getting yourself in foul trouble all the time. Like, he's doing the Bishop Boswell. Like Boswell would do, like, he'd be playing good defense, but would just always foul. So he's got the mentality, he's got the physical ability, he's got the physicality, and he's really good at it. He's got to learn some of that veteran savviness to stay out of foul trouble.
I think some of that, though, is the Spurs defense. Like, we're seeing it. It doesn't matter who it is. They're physical. And they've really been daring the refs to call fouls. This game, they've been reffing a little bit differently. People keep complaining that the Spurs are getting the benefit of the doubt. But we talk about it all the time. I've always said, like, people complain about, the Kentucky refs against Tennessee. And I'm like, well, but Tennessee sets the tone. And they play physical, hard-nosed defense. And, yeah, there's times where you're like, okay, that's a foul and it wasn't called. But refs are going to miss calls. It's the one credit I give to Rick Barnes and Tennessee when Kentucky plays them. Like, they come out and they're hard-nosed. They're up in you. They're kind of legally hand-checking. And it's really on the refs to dictate that or to slow that down. If not, then they're going to keep doing it. And, when Castle –
because they can't call them all, right? They're not going to call all the fouls. So, like, if you start the game aggressive and physical like you're pointing, like Tennessee does, I 100% agree with you, Drew. Like, it's frustrating to see those calls, but the refs can't call them all, right? So if you start off hard-nosed and, you're playing tight and you get away with a few, okay, well, this is that – you set the precedence for the game, right? And now you got to really start, buckling down. And really, if you're on the offensive side or, in this reference, Kentucky side, create a lot of contact, try to sell it a lot. And at that point, it's not always the best spot to be in. I do think and
if the refs start calling, then you can always pull back and you don't have to play such physical defense. You can, you got to adjust to the refs. As much as the refs need to adjust to the game, the players got to adjust to what the refs are calling as well. But go ahead.
I do think tonight's game is a bit of an overcorrection from game 3. Because that game was wild. I mean, they were letting the boys play probably a little bit too much. I mean, there was a trip. I was watching the Pat McAfee broadcast, and there was a back and forth, probably 4 trips up and down the court where clear fouls on both sides, hacking away, fast breaks, just ugly basketball because people are getting hacked all over the place. And even Q Rich was like, they they got Q Rich and Kendrick Perkins, 2 old school basketball guys. Like, all right, this is a little bit ridiculous. I thought we blow a damn whistle, you know?
Yeah, especially if Perkins is saying that it's getting a little rough, then you know it's bad. So, but that's like, and like Josh and I talk about a lot of times when we're looking at spreads and lines and stuff like that for college basketball. So many times, I'll throw out there, but it depends on what kind of whistle, because when you've got the Tennessees and the Houstons and the Virginias and some of the more aggressive and physical teams, it really does. It depends on what kind of whistle you're going to get, because if it's tight, then that's going to be an ugly game. It's probably going to be low scoring, and you're going to see a lot of guys play that you're having to look up and see, who the hell is this? Because they won't let it. They won't let the physicality dictate the game. Whereas vice versa, like you said, you come out playing physical and hard, and it's like, okay, that's just, the rest are like, okay, well, that's just how we're playing. Then they're going to let some stuff go. Like, it's got to be pretty egregious to get a whistle, in games like that. And that's what we had in Game 3 for sure.
So here's the one thing, and y'all mentioned it when you were saying what the final record could be is still in play and all that. You can win by 100 points. This game has zero bearing on it. There's no point carryover or anything like that. So,
but I would say this: the Knicks need to have a good second half, whether they win or lose, because now you lose 2 in a row, and you had all the momentum in the series. You were up 2-0, you won 2 in a row. You're going back home, then you drop 2.
Yeah,
Spurs come in as a youngster team. They win 2 on the road to tie it back up, and then they're heading back home. Now, like you said, it might not matter, but
because the inverse could be the same. Like, the Knicks had all the momentum, the Spurs came and took it. Why? Like, it's the championship, it's the finals.
Mm-hmm.
Like, go take it back. Now, I want the Spurs to win. I already wanted them to win, and I even more so want them to win after I saw what those Knicks fans were doing to the Spurs fans. That was absolute garbage.
Yeah.
And they don't deserve to have anything to celebrate acting like that. But like just because the momentum is in the Spurs' favor, that like go play the game and take it back.
Yeah, I felt like though the Knicks needed to win one of these 2, because that would put them in a position to kind of have their boot on their throat.
Mm-hmm.
Now I think it wildly benefits San Antonio, and I think we may see the odds flip back in their favor, because they could have absolutely crushed the Spurs' will and spirit if they came out of this thing up 3-1. Now it's even. San Antonio regains, if this holds, San Antonio regains, home court advantage, and the Knicks are giving the Spurs the one thing they couldn't afford to give them, and that's confidence.
Well, and so I agree. Like, the momentum is in the Spurs' favor. I'm just saying, like, when you went to New York, the momentum was in New York's favor, and they flipped it. So flipping it can be a thing. Yeah, but I do agree that it is in, like, as long as this continues, this is in the Spurs' favor.
But hey, you can only flip momentum so many times too. Like, at some point you can't flip the momentum. It just is what it is. Yeah, I think Cat just got hurt. I'm not sure what happened.
Wemby elbowed him in the jaw.
And has been a trend with Wemby. Them elbows stay high. I know he's a tall dude. He's 7'5", but them elbows coming real high, making some contact.
Yeah, he's been kind of criticized for that throughout the season, and it's kind of really been spotlighted in the playoffs that he's a little bit. I don't want to call him a dirty player, but he's a little reckless.
I have a question for y'all, because the narrative about today's players is that they're soft. I disagree. I don't think they're soft. I think the rules are soft. Like, they, I understand that they do the load management and they sit out games, but these dudes just get hammered and beat up and stuff. Like, you see Cat just got elbowed right in the jaw. He's going to go back out there and play. Like, these dudes, they play on, ouchies and boo-boos and all that kind of stuff. Do you think players today are soft, or is it more the rules? Because to me, it's the rules.
I think the rules have changed. Definitely, like you've said. I mean, Shea went to Kentucky. I'm always going to back the guy, but, we can look at Shea all the time and be like, he's doing things to get calls. It seems like now it's more of like an acting job at times to draw fouls. Brunson does the same thing though. Like Brunson
and even LeBron did it, right? LeBron completely switched. Early LeBron in Cleveland used to have 3 people trying to pull him down, and he would still get and ones. And then when he went back to Cleveland, flopping works. It tricks the refs, and they call it. So to me, I don't think LeBron's soft because I've seen enough film to show that he's not, but he's playing on the rules, and it's all this acting to get calls, which I don't like. I'm not a fan of that at all, but I don't think it's because he's soft.
Yeah, I also think in this series in particular, I think the Spurs are way more physical, and they play like that. They've been playing like that than the Knicks. I don't think the Knicks are like non-physical, but they do have some guys that they're not very physical at all. Like Landry Shamet, he's not out there to try to go be physical.
No, but that's not what I'm saying though. Even in the 80s, there were people who wouldn't be physical, but I just mean I don't think they have soft mentalities like everybody acts like they do.
Yeah, I agree. I
think it's a little bit of both.
I disagree. Yeah, I disagree a little bit. And my biggest pet peeve with the soft thing is the load management piece. I think that's soft as hell. Maybe not the on-court play, but the load management pieces where it's not cheap to come play basketball games. And if I'm in a city where not my favorite team is, and my favorite team comes close, and I travel and I want to see, I don't care if they're playing the Wizards. If I want to see, an all-star LeBron, Steph, I don't think he does it as much. Give me some help. Damian Lillard did it at times.
AD.
Yeah, KD, exactly. So if I'm coming to watch a team play and I go and then I get there and I see that it's a load management game because they're, the fact that the NBA has to put it in a 65 game rule to get you eligible for some of these awards, I think that's soft as hell. But I agree that the league play allows them to do the flopping and soft, but I do think every year, when we get to the playoffs, we see a different brand of basketball. We see not necessarily the old school brand. We do see a tougher, more hard-nosed, beat and bang, not the flopping. And you really saw it in the OKC Spurs series. Like the fan base got really loud about this, and Shea had to change his game in the last 3 because they stopped giving him those calls. They corrected it, and it played the Spurs' advantage. And Shea and hopefully Brunson and these other guys, LeBron, if they continue that change, let's hope that reverts back to how we want the players to play next season, right? Let's carry this thing throughout the entirety of the season.
Yeah, I watch off ball a lot, and there's so much pulling and shoving and put like all the things that like people I don't think they realize anymore is going on, and these dudes are playing through it. So yeah, I agree with the sitting out. You should want to play as many games as you can. And I understand that they're making so much money now that they're trying to preserve their investment, which is their body and all that. That's kind of soft, but I don't think on court they're as soft as everybody thinks they are. I think
some of it too is the rules. If they just change
the rules are the bigger issue.
If they buckle down on the rules, like we ain't calling this BS anymore, and like you can do it, but like if they start drawing out offensive fouls for that certain stuff, which I know they have, if you blatantly flop, like you'll get a call. But if they buckle down on those, or if they just stop calling so many ticky-tack fouls,
right?
I think we would see the game change a lot because I think the only reason these guys do it is because they know that the calls are likely going to come.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The acting works, and so they're playing to the rules. Like toughen the rules back up, and we'll see things that we like.
Yeah, I agree.
The players themselves physically are definitely not more soft because these dudes are more ginormous and fast and big and strong than they've ever been, right? So I think that plays the biggest piece of the argument. It's like the players in the 80s and 90s, like basketball players have always been huge, but these son of guns are massive human beings, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yes.
We're talking about Jalen Brunson, 6'1". He's still pretty stout as being like a small dude. Like in the real world, he's a big boy, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Steph, little.
Steph and Steve Nash look like midgets out there, right? And they're 6'3". Like,
exactly.
Yeah.
It's just you get ready to say something.
Because if you add some of the stuff that we see with the flopping and whatnot, the reason you see that stuff in old school 80s, 90s basketball, because if you legit hit somebody like that, then there's fists.
Yeah.
Like the Pistons, the Bulls.
Benches are clearing.
You know what I mean? Like they don't care if the foul's called or not. They're looking to throw hands, and people are getting up in people's faces. So there wouldn't be any feigning or flopping or whatever you want to call it. None of that stuff going on. And it would be a fight. So, and I think, and the reason I said both, I'm sorry, y'all. It just is what it is, because I'm a big Anthony Davis fan. But man, that dude will sit out 3 months with a hangnail.
I was going to say, whatever you're going to say, I'll probably agree with.
Probably going to agree, right? That's like he gets traded, right, to Dallas, and he either in practice or the first game, and then he's out another 3 weeks.
Yeah.
He just came back from injury. He plays one game, or he gets hurt in practice. I can't remember what it was, and he's out another for like 3 weeks.
He pulled his groin. And
it was something like that. And,
but
I know he's a big dude, man, and I know his joints and muscles and everything probably have more strain on them than somebody that's mine and T size. I understand that, but you're also a professional athlete that probably spends tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars on physical training and nutrition and all this other stuff. And some guys their bodies just aren't cut out for it because for whatever reason, they can't hold up under the strain and the stress of a full season. I understand that. But then there's other guys that mentally they're kind of soft. Is Jordan he would have to have broken ankles to not go out there and play, right? Mm-hmm. We've seen guys get, elbowed, punched in the mouth, cuts under their eyes, their mouth, broken noses, and as soon as the bleeding gets stopped, they're back out there. If that had been some of these guys today's game, they'd be out a month.
But is AD representative of the majority of players, or is he
not?
Like, because he is identified by, like, they were making fun of him calling him street clothes Davis and all that kind of stuff, right? Like the way he does it sticks out enough where people like latch onto that, and so you're correct with him, but I don't think he's the norm.
He's not, and it's not isolated to just him, but it's not as widespread as people want to make it out to be, because they do when they see stuff like that with him or whomever that it just has a history. Zion Williamson's another one that just has a history of injuries and can't stay on the floor.
Why is the same way?
The perception is that NBA players, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So the public and the mental midgets out there blanket the whole league that way. And that is not the case. But I think it is a little bit of both. I don't think it's entirely one or the other. But it's a different game today than it was when MJ and Bird and Barkley and Kobe and Shaq and all those guys played. I mean, even when, Tim Duncan and the Spurs were in their glory runs and stuff, it's different. It's different from the Warriors and the Cavs and the Warriors and the Heat 10 years ago.
Well, shoot, man, the as much as I love Tim Duncan, him and the Spurs are who started all this load management stuff in the first place. Pop had him sitting out.
You're not wrong. Yeah. It's just sad, though, that we have rules that say you have to play X number of games.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, we have reached a bad spot. But again.
And isn't that linked to contracts, too? Like you can't have a max contract if you didn't play X number of games or a percentage of games in the season.
I believe so.
Yeah. Again, to me, fix the rules, and that will fix like 75% of this.
Yeah, that and the tanking thing. I think both those two things combined, if they can fix that, I think you're right, T. I think that will limit some of the nonsense that we have to see. And I don't live in an NBA city. I don't even live near an NBA city. Mm-hmm. But I know I'd be pissed if I spent $300-400 on a couple of tickets to go watch players that I love play, and 3 of them ain't on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
So I totally get the outrage coming from fans about it.
Same.
And the big money, I think, hurts.
Wow.
As well, because the coaches, the player themselves, the ownership, right? You mentioned this a few shows back. It might have been on Saturday. Most of the NBA gets into the playoffs, and if you get in, you got a chance, right? So I'm going to preserve my max contract, my 3 or 4 players that got hundreds of $1 million worth of my money tied up into it, because I want them on the floor when it matters, right? So I'm going to play just enough games to stay in the hunt. If you're good enough early, maybe you play them more because you can get a top seed, and that matters. But yeah, you're protecting your investment because there's so much money behind it. And shoot, you're worth what someone's willing to pay you. The NBA, the NFL are billion-dollar organizations, so these athletes are gonna get paid what they deserve. But again, the fan base who is giving back, the reason why they are worth so much money, to everybody on the panel's point, we want to see them out there playing. So there's got to be a happy medium there. But as we're talking about soft players, I don't know if you saw them talk about. Sorry, I'm watching the player who I'm getting ready to talk about just take this three and miss it. But De'Aaron Fox, what he's going through right now to play. Wendy wouldn't come out and outright say it. He was on NBA, was it NBA Live, whatever the ESPN show is. No, it's NFL Live, NBA Today or whatever it's called. NBA Today. And then he was on Pat McAfee's show, and he wouldn't come out and say what he was doing. I think they're trying to keep it close hold, but he was essentially saying what De'Aaron Fox is doing and the things he's injected into his body and the around like 24-hour treatment he's doing on that ankle to come out and play. While he's having a hell of a game tonight, he's become less efficient in this third quarter, but he was shooting 50% from the field going into halftime. And we're giving a lot of flowers to Stephon Castle, Dylan Harper stepping up. We talked about the shooters, Vassell and Champagnie, but when De'Aaron Fox is aggressive and scoring points and facilitating for everybody else is when the Spurs are at their best. And the fact that he's on the court and playing, going all the way back to the OKC series, Hammer, you talked about it. Fox doesn't play, they don't win that series. If he's out, they got no shot. He plays, they win. He's playing right now at a high level, and they are on the verge of a comeback as the Knicks are trying to make a run here in the third. But if they do something in this series and they do win a championship, I think you got to look at De'Aaron Fox's play and the fact that he's, being a guy that we were just referring to as a tough dude, not letting, an injury take him out of the moment and playing for his team. Definitely think he should get a shout out.
Yeah, I think game 3, we saw more of like normal De'Aaron Fox. Like he was getting paint touches, mid-range pull-ups. He was getting more creative with the ball. Tonight, you're seeing some of that too. I didn't see the segment that you were talking about with his ankle. I need to go check that out. But I think we're seeing him like slowly, he is obviously not going to be 100%, but I think we're seeing close to where he can still be De'Aaron Fox and still have a huge impact on the game. Whereas in that Oklahoma City series, he really was just kind of out there and kind of was just passing the ball. He wasn't very aggressive. He wasn't very like shot hunting like we typically see. But I think the last 2 games, we're starting to see him kind of elevate that more and going to actually create, get in some isolations, get back to some of the ball skills that he has. And then obviously, like he's just at the end of the day too, he's just out there like trying to help his team out, trying to be the, facilitator for Harper and Castle and Wemby and all those guys as well. But I think we're starting to see the last 2 games, he's kind of ramped it up and elevated a little bit more than what we've seen in the past, 2 or 3 weeks in the playoffs.
Yeah, that elbow jumper he hit between between Cat and Brunson at that last possession of the game. I mean, clutch shot and, the biggest shot of the game so far, even though Wemby had 35 and youngest player to hit, the mark since Kobe and Magic, I think. That shot was the one that was the nail in the coffin. That was the dagger. Yeah, that was the dagger for sure.
So just the team. I completely agree with y'all, and I said that about Castle, right? Like that's why he was having so many turnovers because he was forced to play point guard because their point guard was out when Fox was out. But like they're constructed the way they are for a reason, and 100% Fox is your veteran and he's your point guard. So now Castle can go back to his natural wing position, and then he can also set up Champagnie and Vassell and Wemby, and then Harper can come in, and then it'd be more ideal if he can do the next on-ball stuff probably instead of Castle. But I love their roster construct. I think they give themselves good versatility, but yeah, I think it 100% runs the way it's designed to when Fox can make it happen. He's always been fun to me just because of how fast he is. Like every time he moves, he looks like he's hitting the turbo button because he's so quick. It makes him fun to watch, kind of like how Jordan Bone was, but Fox is still faster than everybody in the NBA too.
Well, and they need him in these games because, Castle's in his second year, Harper's a rookie. Like, you need that veteran presence, especially, obviously, I mean, starting now tonight, like Knicks are on a run, but in these close games when MSG's going, or when you're at home and it's a tie ball game with 2 minutes left, you need, Wemby can't bring the ball up. He can't do everything. You got to have other guys step in. Fox can take that ball handling role. He can take up that veteran guard presence to calm the team down, to get the team in the right looks. Those situations, we talked about it at the end of game 2, like that play, like what, with the ball screen stuff, like, having Fox is absolutely massive for the Spurs team. And it's not even just the veteran presence too. It's also De'Aaron Fox. He's still one of the, premier point guards in the NBA when he's fully healthy, and he's still, near the top when he's hurt with what he can do. So it's important for 100 different reasons why De'Aaron Fox is out there, and it's made the Spurs a lot more dangerous.
So, Hammer, I know you love Brunson, but I mean, Brunson, he irritates me so much because he foul hunts. Like, I get that SGA like foul baits, but like Brunson,
he's the same way. He's the same.
Yeah, makes me so mad.
I always said that Brunson is the same way as Shea, but nobody likes to call him out. They treat him like the media darling, and maybe it's because he doesn't have a NBA championship and doesn't have 2 MVPs. But
to me, Brunson's worse because Brunson does all that like sideways jumping and like
completely throws his shoulder on a shot, then he falls back to shoot. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
And he's smart, so he's likely going to get it more than Shea is at 6'6".
Yeah, he's super smart and he's super crafty, but it irritates me so much. Harper is.
You see Dylan Harper just chicken wing OG? Oh my gosh, that kid is nasty, man.
He is.
But we'll move on for the sake of time from Texas basketball to Texas college football. And Hammer, I'll go to you first, but the lead really is of college athletics right now is Brennan Sorsby becoming eligible to play. Judge Curry, I think, was the guy's name. Not a Texas Tech alum. He was the guy that was picked when the Texas Tech alum recused himself, but he's still a Dallas-Fort Worth guy. And he says, you know what, Brennan Sorsby, because you're going to potentially have a bunch of strain and potential sadness, I think we're just going to let you play football. Now, there's been a massive response from other college football teams. We're not going to play you. Conferences saying we're not going to play you. So I think folks are super pissed off about it. But I know how you stand about this kid gambling on games and how it's terrible for the game. But now he's able to play. Like, this seems ridiculous.
This, I mean, as bad as the Bediako deal was with Alabama and with slime ball Will Wade trying to bring in all these former NBA players, this is the one thing. Like, if there's one thing that you absolutely cannot do in sports, and it's not like this was a surprise, right? There's symposiums on it in professional sports. There's symposiums on it in collegiate sports that you absolutely 100% cannot bet on games. Period. No discussion. No caveat. Hard, absolute truth. So the one thing that you absolutely cannot do, this kid did to the tune of about 9,000 times.
Is that an exaggeration or is that actual? I don't know the
number.
No,
that's actual.
Oh, my goodness.
9,000 bets were placed, either by him or through proxy bets of friends, family, whatever. He illegally bet in at 3 different schools. And shame on Cincinnati, because there's a lot of evidence now pointing to the fact that they knew that this was happening, didn't disclose it, didn't do anything about it. And I'm seeing all these Texas Tech fans getting all up in their feels and making all these arguments trying to defend him. Listen, there is no defense to this. He knew it was wrong. Texas Tech knew about the issue. They knew he violated those rules. I don't care if he did it in the state of Texas or not. I don't care if he did it while on the team or not. The fact remains, he broke the rules. If you want to support him, that's fine. You help facilitate whatever rehabilitation that he needs, get him whatever help he needs. And I know that they didn't back the lawsuit. They didn't fund it. It was all done by Sorsby and his team and his counsel. And again, that's fine. It's free country. You can sue anybody guilty till proven innocent, unfortunately, a lot of times in the courts. But the fact that Texas Tech is going to allow him to play, I don't care what the ruling was. There is right and wrong in this world. Integrity is doing the right thing when nobody's looking. And I understand that you have never won a championship in anything. Okay, I know you've been like the third or fourth stepchild and the runt pig of all the teams in Texas. And you're the little yapping dog now because somebody cared enough about your little program to fund it and give you money in all these sports. But you're acting like a bunch of asses. It started with your softball team, your basketball team, now your football team. And I know you're just so desperate to win something that matters, but this ain't the way. Sacrificing your program's integrity is not the way to do this.
Yeah, and to Joshy Boy's point, like Sorsby isn't great. Like, so is this really the hill that you're going to die on?
I don't know why we're treating this kid like he's the second coming of Joe Montana. He is not that good. He's good. He's good, but he ain't elite.
Yeah, like you're right. You shouldn't do this wrong thing, period. But if you're about to like make yourself the most hated university, of all time and by the whole world, Sorsby is probably not why you would want to do that. Like it would need to be Joe Burrow, Tim Tebow, Cam Newton type person. Again, wrong is wrong, but to be even willing to die on this hill, you need elite of elite, not good.
Yeah, it needs to be somebody like a Reggie Bush that, okay, we know that we're going to win with this kid. We do whatever we got to do. He's not that guy. And two, just because the court says he can play does not mean that he has to play. And I hear all the conversation from the ADs of the Big 12 and other opponents that are on Texas Tech's schedule saying, oh, well, we're not going to play and boycott. And I would love to see that, quite frankly.
They won't do it, though.
But there's a problem there because there are some antitrust laws that come into play there. And Texas Tech could sue these schools. Sorsby could sue these schools because he would be the reason that they're not playing. Again, going back to that cause detriment to his, finances, whatever. They could argue that, it's going to impact his ability to have a good draft position because he didn't get to showcase his talents in this game, blah, blah, blah. So more than likely, as much as we'd love to see it, that's not happening. These games will get played. What can happen, however, is they don't have to be invited to the college football playoff if they qualify. Bowl games are not obligated to invite teams. They get their pick. So there are still some things that can be done outside the courts and outside the university. Because regardless of how it happens and regardless of who does it, there needs to be some justice served in this case, in this situation, one way or another. And if Texas Tech doesn't have the testicular fortitude or the integrity to do it, then somebody else should step up and take care of this.
Well, Texas Tech's not going to. You saw the statement from the AD. He said, this came out, as we have said before, we do not believe that the circumstances of Brennan's case warrant permanent eligibility. Hammer just said 9,000 bets were placed. And guess what? He was not going to stop until he got caught, which is why he said, I have an addiction and I'm going to put myself into rehab, right? Yeah. No, dog. You got caught and there was the only way you could try to save your face, and it didn't work. Unfortunately, fast forward some time, it did work because they got you some eligibility. And I think we've said this before. We talk about Will Wade, other things. The NCAA can let you play games, and then surprise, guess what? You're not going to a tournament. Let these dudes play games. Their schedule is what it is. They'll probably be college football playoff eligible, and you don't get to play. You know what? And then next year when this thing plays itself out and all those wins are vacated, it'll be starts from scratch. But like you said, is someone going to have the cojones to do this? Because with Texas Tech in a college football playoff comes a bunch of money, right? So money runs these things, and it's the right thing to tell them you ain't coming. But will it actually happen? And I unfortunately don't believe it will. I think by the time football season comes into play and everybody's just excited to play football again and watch football again and tailgate and do all the things, there'll be signs in every stadium that they play in. They'll be calling out Sorsby for what he is, right? He'll get a bunch of heckling, but he'll still play. He'll still probably win, and they'll still be able to go and play in the playoff is how I would bet on this thing playing out.
No, I agree 100%. And there won't be the court case. If the NCAA decides to fight it, the court case will be well after the football season.
I think it's already
scheduled. It will be moot.
I think it's already scheduled like 3 days after the national championship. I could be wrong on that, but
I would not surprise me.
You're correct, Drew.
Yeah, I was going to say I think I saw that somewhere. Let me just say this though: if I'm Hunter Deckers, you guys remember the former Iowa State quarterback?
Yep.
He placed 366 bets, permanently banned from the NCAA. If I'm him, I'm suing the NCAA or whoever for like $1 billion.
And
they ruined his career, and he placed 366 bets. Sorsby placed 9,000 plus, and that kid's permanently banned. And he was like a redshirt freshman, I believe, at the time at Iowa State. His career got wiped. His potential NFL career got wiped. Now he's playing in like the UFL. I don't even know. It ruined everything for him. You took away his college career, which eventually could lead to a pro career. I think he's in the UFL now, but like the UFL isn't the NFL. And this kid was permanently banned for 366 bets. Sorsby is now eligible due to courts for 9,000 bets. It's absolutely absurd. If I'm Hunter Deckers, I don't have a lawyer degree, but I'd love to be his lawyer because, I can make some serious money in that lawsuit with him. But just absolutely bonkers to me. And he should do something about it if I'm him.
Yeah, because there were Iowa baseball players or football players that got kicked. Iowa State, there was a baseball coach at Alabama that got terminated for that. And Chris Campbell today said something that really pissed me off. And I quoted it because he compared it to Penn State. Like nobody was trying to, boycott playing Penn State when all that scandal and stuff happened. Well, guess what, Chris? There were consequences to the actions of those people. People lost their jobs. Cody Campbell, I'm sorry. Thank you, Josh. People lost their jobs. People went to prison. There were program penalties, not severe, but there were still penalties. Like there was accountability and there were consequences to the actions. That's what the difference is. There has been nobody's gotten in any trouble. All we did was say, okay, well, Brendan, if you just go to, counseling and therapy, and if you think 30 days in a treatment center is going to cure an addiction, I got news for you. That ain't the case.
Mute him.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to mute him. If it rings again, I'm going to let it play. So it's apples and oranges. But what it does do is set a precedent for the next time a Georgia football player gets arrested for driving 120 in a school zone. Oh, well, I'm just addicted to driving fast, Your Honor. Or dude gets busted for PEDs. Well, I've got a chemical addiction to this creatine or whatever substance it is. And so they'll just go and pretend like they went and got treatment and they'll be okay. I'm sorry. I'm just addicted to stabbing people in the neck. I need help. So don't arrest me and don't kick me off the team and don't suspend me from playing. Just let me go. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's absurd, but that's the slippery slope that we've created with this now. Because if we're not going to ban somebody for this that compromises the integrity of the game, we've talked about it before with as dominant and prevalent as sports betting is, ironically, the core of this problem, that people can't confidently put wagers on games because they know crap like this is going on, gets caught, admits to it. We find out how deep it runs, and we may not even know the truth of it. We just know what we've been told and what he's admitted to. If we're not going to punish this, then why do we have rules? The NCAA just needs to go ahead and lock their doors, have a fire sale, everybody go home, and because the inmates are running the asylum at this point. If you can get it in front of the right judge, you can do damn near anything you want to do, and it'll be fine. And that's the part that makes me the most upset and angry about this, because we've already ruined college athletics with NIL and pay to play and all this other stuff. Now we're not even going to enforce rules. Come on, man.
Well, the problem is that, you know, there's really nothing the NCAA can do about it outside of really postseason stuff. It's why that there's conversations about the NCAA rules becoming federal, because if they had federal rules, this would not happen. No local jury would be able to put an injunction against a federal ruled NCAA rules. So that's the problem. The issue is the NCAA can't really fight back for it. Now they sort of can. You know, they did it against Bediako. The NCAA stepped in and they shut that down. And also the Alabama people did. The judge ended up doing the right thing of declaring him ineligible. But that's the problem. I think we could be at a point, though, where this could be so bad and it might happen and we're all just going to have to watch it and live with it. But it could be so bad that this situation actually helps positives in the future for college sports and people actually waking up and being like, okay, this is enough. It's time to have conversations. It's time to get these rules passed. It's time to figure out what the best rules are. And I'm at the point now where if that's what it's going to take, if it's going to take Sorsby playing, because I don't really give a shit about Sorsby. Like, we're never going to see him at Kentucky. We're never going to play against him. He's in the Big 12. We're in the SEC. And a hot take, I don't think Kentucky's going to make the college football playoff where we'd have to anyways.
Don't say that to Rando.
Rando might disagree.
Rando definitely disagrees.
Well,
Don't say
I said
that.
7 and 5. 7 and 5 to get
He's
you
not
into the
quite the
playoff.
10-2 and 11-1 yet, so it's okay right now.
I think
Nobody
Drew
cares
like
about
this.
Texas Tech outside of Lubbock, Texas. Nobody gives a shit about your little program, okay? We're not mad at you, Texas Tech, and fearful of you. We don't want to play you. We want you to have an advantage. It's just flat slap wrong. That's all it is. We don't care about you.
It's college sports. That's the issue.
It's way bigger than Texas Tech. So get off your little ego high horse and just because if this had been anybody else, in the Big 12, they would be jumping up and down, screaming louder than anybody.
And I think it's the quarterback too. If this was a cornerback or a left tackle,
second string lineman,
I think people would be like, okay, whatever. Who gives a shit?
Put his ass in a red flower wagon and dragged him down the road.
Yeah, but it's because
that disrespected DBs, man. You know,
no, I just don't think it would be that big of a deal. I don't think people would.
You know, people who haven't played on, you know, they haven't played it. They try to talk about it.
Well, I mean, collective bargaining has got to be a thing. Eventually, there's got to step up. Drew, maybe you're right that this is so egregious that people start coming together like, what do we do? Because there's, you know, you can say what you want to say about gambling in general, sports gambling. Some people enjoy it. A lot of people enjoy it. Some people hate it. Some people will point to this saying this is why it's a problem. Just talk about money. There's a lot of money behind it. There's a lot of money behind it. There are, you know, it does make the game exciting. There's a joy in it, whether you win or, you know, or lose. It's a thing that I don't think is going to go away. And it can be something that colleges get involved in, and they should be getting involved in, especially the education piece to players. But you got to do it smartly. There's got to be restrictions on it. And there's got to be something, like you said, before, folks have been punished for it. Why this guy's getting off seemingly? There's gotta be something that someone has to put a hammer down. Right now, the final straw for this season, and it meaning something, is the NCAA. Will they do it? We shall see. But we got
more for doing way less too. Like, that's the issue.
Yeah,
punished way more.
We've seen way more punishment for way less. It's funny. Back in the day, we used to worry about
buying somebody a coffee,
buying a kid a Happy Meal at McDonald's for $4 or $5 or something. Or, $200-$300 for mama to pay an electric bill so the lights don't get cut off. And those guys would be ruled ineligible right then and there. Now we're talking about 9,000 bets of over $90,000, and y'all are saying, "Oh, it's no big deal. He just got a little gambling problem. We're gonna fix it for him."
Do we know profit? Do we know if like $90,000? Is that money made or money spent? Not that it matters.
Money wagered. We don't. That's the thing, is we don't know if he's any good, because if he is, I'd like to tail his bets if he's making money. I'll just be honest with you.
Underdog deal or something.
Yeah. So you know how they got that, like, you stock tracker where you can follow stocks of like politicians and investors and things. They need a betting tracker so I can follow some of these NBA guys and these baseball coaches and these football players that are playing to see what they're betting on. I just need to make sure I'm on the right side of this stuff.
I think those guys do exist. They're down there in New York City right now. Part of the
they're quite fond of pasta and hair gel.
yeah.
True, Juice. We're about there already. It's pretty unrecognizable already.
Yeah, we're already in free agency, and we're about to have a collective bargaining agreement. That would also be something that would help negate and eliminate some of this nonsense too. Is because if you've got a CBA in place, then that will clearly say that you can or cannot do this, and you violate that, you got no defense, you got no leg to stand on.
Because it'll take a lot of the player empowerment stuff away.
100% will, Drew. Yeah,
but not 100% player empowerment. At some point, the players, in certain situations, the players don't need the leverage, or the players' agents, because I've said it 100 times, and college kids, their agents, college agents don't have to have any certification. It could be my dad, it could be my uncle, it could be my grandpa. They have no idea what they're doing, and all they want is the most money out of anything, or the best whatever. And they don't always do right by the kids, and they don't always do right by the sport and the NCAA, and they make things difficult. They make things tough. That's the problem and nowadays it's 100% player empowerment. Outside of the coaches have the power where they could just pick up and go to a different school. That's really it.
Yeah. I mean, I am not for federal regulation or the federal government being involved in anything, but something has to happen. And if that's what it's going to take, is some type of federal ruling or regulation in conjunction with a collective bargaining agreement, then we've got to put something in place. Because Josh, you're right. We will watch sports even if it's bad. We went through 15 years in the wilderness, so believe me, we'll watch bad football. That's not going to change. Money will still be there, but it's completely off the rails. And you're probably right, Juice. That's probably what it's going to take, because we're trying to govern ourselves in this, and we're not doing a very good job. So it's going to take an outside third party to come in and lay out some ground rules, because the NCAA's rules don't matter. So we really don't have any at this point.
Well, Hammer, you mentioned no one cares about Texas Tech, a team that everybody cares about, Kentucky Wildcat football. And Will Stein is cooking, dude. Cooking. Have you been
sure about that?
See him? Yeah, yes, I'm sure about that. You see what he's doing in high school recruiting? We're just
I meant the first part about something that everybody cares about is Kentucky football.
I'm 100% certain of it. 100% certain of it. As KFC said on last show, you can't debate me. You cannot debate me on it. I'm talking to a wall, essentially. But Will Stein doing his thing in Kentucky. We won't go in depth, but 4-star offensive lineman commits Malachi Brown on campus. You saw the sweet dope setup that he's taking pictures. We got 4-star defensive backs. I mean, college football playoff this season, highly unlikely. 7-5, very likely. But next 2-3 years from now, watch out because we're building a squad, and he's going to continue to do well in the portal. Kentucky football fans, he's doing something special in Lexington. I'm just saying, like, we have not seen recruiting like this in Lexington. And the orange team over there on my screen left, my right, you have to at least admit what he's doing to bring in some of these guys and beating out Florida State, Ohio State, some big-time names, big-time teams, big-time programs, and bring them to Lexington, Kentucky to play football, 4 stars, number 2 quarterback in the country.
How honest of a response do you want right now? Because you're going to want us to glaze, and you're about to get a real honest response.
No, I want you to get – well, if you don't say that what he's doing in Lexington right now is
you don't get to dictate what I say or what I think.
I do get to because you have
to not, and I will not say what you want me to say. Matter of fact, tell me what to say so I can say the exact opposite.
You have to admit this is new territory for Kentucky. What Will Stein is doing in Lexington, competing with top SEC schools, Big Ten schools, winning in recruiting battles, that you have to admit that's impressive what he's doing in year one. No, not proving anything, completely selling a pipe dream, and I think it's going to be successful. But he's getting a lot of buy-in from these kids to commit here and create a new culture of Kentucky football in Lexington.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. I don't have to admit it. And this is why I don't have to admit it, because I don't think most SEC schools are focusing on high school recruits like that anymore. You got to build your team through the portal. So Kentucky is throwing more money at high school recruits than other schools are willing to do. We've seen it with Heupel. He is not as committed to building or pulling in this next class. We had a really good high school class this time, but the next class, he's not going after high school dudes as hard unless it's somebody like DGG, who's the best running back in the country. And short of that, our focus is on the portal. Indiana just showed that that's how you got to do it. So you're right. It is unprecedented territory for Kentucky, but I think that's where – and he may be able to build something with that if he can retain those players. But I think he's beating these other schools out because he's putting more focus, emphasis, and effort into the high school recruits than the other coaches are because they're trying to do it in the portal.
I think that's fair. I'll also say this, and I keep saying it. Stein's doing a great job in recruiting. But I've always said he hasn't won a game yet as a head coach. He hasn't lost one. So that kind of can help at certain times. I agree to T's point. Now, we don't know for sure. Kentucky's obviously putting a huge emphasis on this freshman class, which I think is important because it's your first high school recruiting class cycle, right? Stein didn't get that last year. He got hired the day before signing day. And it gives you some good juice going into year 2 with a good recruiting class. But the issue is, and I'll always say it, half of these recruits, doesn't matter if they're 4 stars, 3 stars, 5 stars, even though we don't have one, half of them are not going to hit. Half of them we will never see at Kentucky. They won't be good enough. They'll be in the transfer portal after their freshman year, and that's it. Some of these guys, they're still not signed. I mean, they could flip in a second to anywhere in the country, depending on who's recruiting them. I think it is great. I think it's huge. But for me, I'm like I think it's hard to explain. I think it's awesome. I'm rooting for it. Every recruitment we get, I'm fired up about it. But I don't get the super doing a whole parade or national post of excitement because it's just different. High school football recruiting is so much different than high school basketball recruiting. And that's the hardest part. I also hate it that I think at times, and I'm not saying you're doing this, Rando, but some of our fans, they're putting these huge expectations on Will Stein, thinking that we're going to go.
Will Stein put huge expectations on himself.
Yeah, but no, 100%. But I don't want the fan base, because of the way he's recruiting and those things, to just put ungodly expectations, and then we go 5-7 this year, or 4-8, or random shit happens and we don't have a good year, and then everybody's ready to run them out of the door. I think that's I'm not saying that they would do that, but I'm saying they're at 10% of Big Blue Nation would do that. 10% of Big Blue Nation be like, this is the wrong hire. We should have hired blank or that, or we needed a coach. We needed a coach with head coaching experience. Like, that's my biggest fear is people are picking Kentucky to go to the playoffs and we're the next Indiana and we're this and that. And the next thing you know, shit happens. I'm not saying it, but like, what if Kenny Minchie just doesn't hit? What if he struggles this year? Like,
not possible.
Okay.
Not possible.
But
yeah, just keep going, Drew. Don't even just keep going.
Tell me what I'm missing, because I was just told we're focusing on the transfer portal now, right? And I just sent a link in the text chat with Hammer and T. 247's 2026 transfer portal team rankings. Tennessee's focusing on the portal. Kentucky right now for 2026 portal, 29 commits. We're ranked 10th. You got to scroll and scroll and scroll, and then Tennessee's 26th. So, like, what am I missing? According to 247, updated on June 10th, which I believe is today. So we're doing well in high school recruiting, and I understand it's NIL area if we throw more money, but you're not going to tell me that we have more money than Texas, Ohio State, Georgia, maybe Florida State. We probably have more money than Florida State. We maybe have more money than Clemson right now, but like big-time legacy football schools. So if Tennessee's focusing more on transfer portal rankings, why is there a 16-point gap?
Next year.
What do you mean?
Like,
next year?
No, yeah, the rosters are set, but T's talking about like that after this year, the offseason going forward, Tennessee's saving their money to get the guys out of the portal. Kentucky's kind of front loading with getting the freshmen. Now they'll still get in the portal. Kentucky's also kind of a young team too. So I would expect, depending on this year, there will be some returners, and then they'll have these freshmen coming in, and then they'll have to pluck certain guys for the portal to round out the roster. But T's point is like the 2027 portal cycle.
Yeah. And so here's the thing, and here's the real reason people are going to focus more on the portal. And Drew mentioned it, but like generally you don't want your freshmen to come in and have to play, right? And so what's going to happen is you're going to pay these freshmen all this money, you're going to develop them, and then they're going to go play somewhere else. And Heupel's kind of talked about it, and he's sick of doing that. And I think most schools are seeing it. So Stein may be being intentional with this, right? He's like, hey, I'm having to build Kentucky from the ground up, so I have to do it. Mm-hmm. Like I need to put some more focus on high school than most. But that's like dominating the high school ranks is just not – it's not hitting the same as it did even 2 years ago.
Yeah, because here's what happens. It's very similar to what you have in professional sports and was like football. So you've got a veteran player who contracts up, they leave, and they sign with another team. So you draft a player for that position, but you also sign another veteran. So it's the same thing in college. So your quarterback leaves, and you've got a freshman. I mean, we're in this position now, right? Because we've got a redshirt freshman in George McIntyre. We drafted, recruited Faison Brandon, brought him in as a true freshman, but we were still trying to get a quarterback in the portal, and we didn't. We got Ryan Staub from Colorado, who me or T's probably got a better chance of playing than he does.
Well, and luckily we didn't get Sorsby.
And luckily didn't get Sorsby. Talk about unanswered prayer. There you go. But it's the same thing. So you bring this high-profile freshman in, number one quarterback in the country, whatever, but you're going to go sign a kid out of a portal that's playing his fourth or fifth year that's going to make $6, $7, $8 million. Who are you going to play? Unless that freshman just comes in and
those conversations like with Allrod are happening.
Play. So that kid's right. Like, oh, well, you're not going to play me. I'll go somewhere that will.
I don't think that's how it works. I think it works some places like that. And when you have like a Georgia,
name me one 4-year starting quarterback.
You don't need to be around this year. You don't need to be around 4 years. You need to be around 2 or 3 years.
No, I'm saying name me a quarterback that has started 4 years in college.
I don't understand what I can't name one, but I don't understand what your point is. I
I'm
don't want
saying that these freshmen want to
play.
come in and play, and they're not going to get to play. So they're going to learn and they're going to develop, and then they're going to transfer and go somewhere and start as either a sophomore or a junior someplace else. There are no more 4-year starters, or even really not many 3-year starters.
You had Arch Manning sit behind Ewers for 2 years before he played. It's not like it's set that the top guy is just going to go leave because he's going to go leave. They got paid money. There is something that says, hey, you're here for a reason. We sell now. If the coach sells you something and you don't get, then you hit the transport. That's fine. And I get there's going to be somebody that comes in, offers him a bunch of money, and it's going to be on Stein to retain him, even though, hey, you're here to learn. When you come in, you're not going to play as a freshman. Those conversations with this kid are happening. He's going to be on State Line Co's podcast tomorrow, so go check him out. But that's just an example. It is on Will Stein to retain him, but I don't. The money is getting paid to these young men to come in here to develop and then get a potential to start year 2 at Kentucky. What I'm confident is the conversations that Will Stein is having are you're part of the new culture, the new build, and we'll keep you here for 2-3 years so that you can see this thing grow. Now, he's got to do the thing first. But again, he was here for a very short amount of time, and he's already got a top 10 ranked transfer portal class coming in. I think he can, if he's doing that now, and if he does have a little bit of success, that'll extend into high school. It can extend into portal. Yes, I'm always going to be a sunshine pumper. I'm gonna be on the way in positive side of things, and my expectations will be high, and my excitement will be high. But so far, Will Stein has given me a reason to believe that he can be the dude, not just based off what he's doing in the offseason at Kentucky, which matters not as much as what happens, not even clearly as much as what happens in the regular season, but what he also has done at Oregon, right? Now, he's going to have some head coach things, but he has a proven track record of being a guy who can recruit and maintain and retain talent at Oregon.
Juice, I think it's huge. And I've heard a lot of people say that they don't think Faison finishes his career at UT. I think that would be awesome. And how rare, and to Hammer's point, who's a 4-year starter if Faison ends up being the starter, and nobody stays at their school anymore. So that would be – I don't know if it's necessarily crucial, because that's kind of the lay of the land these days, that everybody leaves. But I think it would be awesome if it happened. And that's I'm really hoping it does. And I think the way that UT is going to get behind Faison, hopefully it helps them stay. Yo, the Knicks are really about to win this game.
This is insane.
I text Josh and told him, I said 15 points in a quarter, because they were down by 15 to go into the quarter. I was like, that's nothing. I texted him that, and here we are.
Bro, Rando was talking, and I felt bad because I just shook my head. No, because Brunson had the second just idiotic turnover in like 3 minutes. I was like, what is he doing? But I felt bad because I thought Rando was going to give me a weird look, because he was just preaching, and I was like nodding my head agreeing, and then Brunson turnover, I was like, no.
Yeah, Juice, I'll say
Joshy boy calling me a sheep in the comments. That'll get me spun up real quick.
Oh, Josh, that was bad of you to do. Juice, I would say this: critical to success of the program, probably not. Critical to the success of Faison as the leader of Tennessee football, absolutely. Because the one thing that we talk about year in and year out is continuity. When you've got a returning quarterback, when you've got returning offensive linemen, when you've got returning, middle linebacker, safety, captain of the defense, whatever that looks like. But it's not more critical to any position on the field than quarterback. So when you look at teams that are returning a starting quarterback, Julian Sayin, Trinidad Chambliss, Arch Manning, go down the list. Look at the Heisman candidates, the Heisman frontrunners. Just about every one of those guys this year were the starter last year in that system, same offensive coordinator. It is very crucial to being able to have an advantage over teams that are cycling through quarterbacks year in and year out. Looking at you, Lane Kiffin, because you have that continuity. There's not that getting to know everybody and trying to cram the playbook in 3 months or whatever, whatever the time frame is, it looks like. We've got 4 of our 5 offensive lineman starters coming back from last year. We would have had a 5th if Lance Hurd did want to go play, junior college ball.
Hey.
Oh, wait. I was trying to get Rando with that one. He's still not paying me attention.
So I'm locked in this game right now.
So that's massive. So I don't even know if everybody's freaking out about quarterback. We've got a true freshman and a redshirt freshman, and we didn't get anybody in the portal. Normally I'd be freaking out with you, but we've got a great offensive line coming back. One of the better lines in the country, actually. I've seen some experts have us top 5, top 10 offensive lines. We've got a stud running back, 2 arguably. We've got 2 massively talented wide receivers and probably the number 1 freshman at the position coming in. Ethan Davis is a freaking beast. I'm not as worried about the quarterback spot as everybody else. Because
let me say this, too. Your coach has one of the most quarterback friendly offenses in college football.
He really does.
Yeah,
he does. Because it's so much of the pass game is predicated on the ability to run the football. And that's one thing I can promise you Josh Heupel will do. He will run the football.
Yeah.
So he will dumb that offense down for whomever's under center. I'm not worried about the quarterback position. Would I have loved to have had a 4th or 5th year guy like a Josh Hoover or whatever? Sure, we all would have, and let Faison learn. I mean, I'm not worried about who we throw in there. I'm really not, because we can always turn around and hand the ball off to Bishop. We have enough read option, play action type stuff, and we can do even more of that with Faison, that we can dink and dunk. We can throw 5-yard and 10-yard outs and dump it off to the flat, the safety valves, into the tight end and whatnot. So I'm not as concerned about it. And if the defense is as good as we think it's going to be, we really don't. I mean, Alabama won national championship with Greg McElroy and A.J. McCarron. And I'm not saying we're going to go win a national championship, but I'm just saying you don't have to have elite quarterback play to be good if you can run the football and you can play good defense. I got to see what's going on. Y'all are flipping out over here.
Well, I don't know.
Oh, my goodness.
He's a little
turnover. The Knicks just took the lead. Oh, he missed it.
That's the one that I said, oh, my gosh, about.
Well, I don't know how Mitch Johnson didn't call a timeout after Brunson hit that 3 to calm everybody down. I don't know. Josh Hart, just dunk it, dude. Just send that
I think
thing
he
home.
tried and he jumped too early, but he was still.
No, everybody's too worried about fouls all the time, man. He thought he was going to get fouled.
Go finish it. That was a terrible decision by.
And think about taking the lead on a dunk.
Yeah.
Man,
that place would have been. Yeah, why didn't he? He was right there.
Oh, Wemby, make a free throw, dude. Come on.
Oh, man. What was
I had to turn the volume up just so I could hear how loud it is.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What was the largest lead? Do you guys know? Let me
29, I think.
20, yeah.
I saw 27. Yeah, 29.
29. Yeah, that's crazy.
All the stuff we were talking about at the beginning of the show about momentum, and Wemby misses both. Oh, my goodness. If the Spurs lose this game, series over. I mean, not just because it's 3-1, but because they don't have it left. I mean,
no,
I wouldn't be surprised if this thing.
Game 5, Knicks close it out. Game 6 at home.
That's how Drew and I, wrote this up, man.
Exactly.
You got to double Brunson right now. Like, why they're not doubling Brunson? So silly. What are you doing?
This is crazy.
Get the ball out of this dude's hands. He's the most clutch guy in the league.
Now my bets have life. Let me go look and see how that's doing.
Maybe not. Do something, man.
I didn't even bother looking, man, when they were down 30.
Brunson.
Castle with another turnover. Nope, he saves it. Give it up. He stepped out of bounds.
Oh, you're kidding me. Schmidt has not made a 3? Good Lord.
I'm the biggest Landry Shamet hater on the planet.
This is unbelievable.
I just needed 2 threes from him, and I would have cashed this.
Did you guys see that guy in the hat when he stepped out of bounds?
Yeah.
Who was that? I'm surprised he didn't get in trouble.
Double. There you go. Keep
Maybe
the ball in
it'll go into
Brunson's
overtime.
hands. Keep the Brunson. Oh,
This would be a great overtime game.
Yeah, it would be.
shot clock violation. Here we go. You got to get a 2-for-1 opportunity. Get the ball in Dylan Harper's hands, please. This kid is a certified bucket. Get the ball in his hands. And Mitch Johnson carries one of these timeouts into overtime. He's an idiot. He's been sitting on these two things for the last 2 minutes.
Yeah, what are you waiting for?
Yeah. This is where we get to see how great Wemby is right here.
Well, yeah, missing those 2 free throws is not great.
No.
Yeah,
No.
that was okay, he's using one now.
This is crazy.
Wow. This game was over, man.
Hey, this is what the
Over.
finals is all about, baby.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to say. This
Yeah,
is crazy.
This is
I'm just
It's
shocked,
wild.
but I don't want to leave the stream dead quiet, but dang.
what was
I'm just
what
dumb.
was it? Was it 22 points that they came back from in San Antonio game 1? I
Something
think
like
it was
that.
double.
Yeah.
It was something like double
Yeah.
digits they came back from, and then they go about to do it again.
You know, this will be the third time this has happened because, you know, the Knicks had a pretty sizable lead in game 3, and they coughed it up.
Yeah. And yeah. Crazy.
And well, haven't the Spurs had a at least a double-digit lead every game?
I think I did
because
see
they've
that.
been getting out to incredible
Yeah.
starts. That's the one thing about the Spurs, even in the Thunder series, they come out of the gates hot, flying around, getting in transition. Like they're really good at the start of the games. But guys, the Spurs only have 28 points in the second half right now.
That's
Wow.
egregious for a
Yeah.
finals. That is absolutely that's unheard of.
28 points. And the start
Maybe in the
game-
40s or 50s.
Yeah, they shot 60%, I believe, if I read that right at the start of the show. They
Had
60%.
70-something at halftime.
Yeah,
they were-
that's insane.
They were 60% from the field and 56% or something with 14 makes from 3. They've just went ice cold. But I mean, the Knicks have ramped up the defense as well. Got to give the Knicks credit.
Oh, good follow, Castle. Make up for it. Hit the free throws, dude.
Well, and being able to have Towns back on the floor helps some too, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Because he only had he had like 7 minutes or something stupid in the first half. It was
Again, Mitch Johnson draws up out of a timeout a 18-foot jump shot.
I don't like
what
that
are we
at all.
doing?
yeah.
I don't like that at all. You got no action going. That was just an ISO 18-foot pull up. Don't like that at all.
Unless they did, only way is if they did that for a quick shot, try to get off its rebound, but a 2-for-1 situation there because now
You got to get a bucket. You can't be playing the. You can't be
I
playing.
agree.
Castle clutch. Yeah, I don't like that, Mitch.
He's a young
Yeah, I mean,
coach with a young squad. Like these are the situations that.
But this is why you have assistants, and this is why you have like experienced assistants, or you're supposed to.
They got to jump in and be like, "Hey,
Yeah, exactly.
we're doing this shit right now. we drawing a setup to get
Clutch.
Wemby a lob or get him near the basket."
Attaboy, Castle. All right, here we go.
This is tough. Peanut butter. We all stopped. Hey, we were talking about Sorsby going on this rant. I'm being told that I'm ridiculous about thinking Stein's the dude at Kentucky football. We were not anywhere.
No, we
close
didn't
to
say
watching this
that
game.
now. We didn't
Yes,
say
you
that.
did. Go
We
back
did
and watch
not.
the tape. Just like in
I don't
the,
have to go
in-
back and watch it. I know what I said.
Just like
He
you guys
said-
hating on Milan.
Yep.
Wasn't hating on him.
Hating on Milan. You're probably gonna hate on Ryan Hampton too. First
Who?
5-star Pope gets.
Who?
Me who?
I never
Me
heard
who?
of her.
That's one. That one's special for me. We haven't had a number 14 come in there and rock Rupp Arena since Tyler
Hey,
Hero.
I was number 14 when I was in high school. That was my high school number.
Yeah, I wouldn't let him disrespect me like that, Drew, if I were you.
Number 4. If you wear number 14, you special.
Bucket.
All right.
Bucket.
Yep. Best number.
I wore
on
7.
the
I
court.
had half the number and twice the talent. So.
Oh, okay. Speaking of which, some of my Marines have been running their mouth about being able to hoop. So for the last couple of months, I've been talking right back at them. And next Thursday, my last day at work, we're running ones. I said just line them up. Let me knock you down. So we're gonna see how well I got it. The good news is it's my last day. So if I suck, I'm rolling out.
Yeah.
You don't have to hear about it.
I played yesterday for the first time in 2 years. I did good enough to get invited to the extra runs, so that was cool. But my knee hurts.
Yeah.
How was the cardio good? Like, were you good out there?
I mean, you can tell I hadn't hooped in a while, but I still get after it in the gym. So
one-on-one with
I can
Jalen
at least
Brunson.
keep
What are
going.
we doing? Double Jalen Brunson, please. Wimby, erase. What a go, Darren. Go. Oh, a block. No foul. Oh, no.
I like that no call. Let it go. Let it play out.
I do too.
Oh, that's backcourt. They called a foul?
Yeah. They had a foul to give, I'm assuming.
Yeah, Knicks aren't in the bonus. Man, I thought that was bad. If he hadn't fouled him, Josh Hart was going back court.
You guys are a little ahead of me, which is fine, but I just saw it. How was that not called back court?
Can they review that?
I don't think
timeout.
so. But the NBA rule is different. If one of your foot is still behind the line,
it's
you
a little
can
more
still
generous
go
in
back, I
college.
believe. Once both of your feet cross, I think that's when the. So I don't. I need to see it in slow motion, but like live and how fast he was moving, it looked like backcourt.
Man, I like going for the 3-point lead there, but
what do you do if you're the Knicks?
No, pull it out.
Yeah, Darren should have pulled that one out. He should have pulled it out, make him foul you.
All right, what kind of action? What kind of action? You're in the huddle. You're the coach. What are you guys drawing up here? 6 seconds, down one.
If I'm on defense, I'm pulling the hammer and T defense of play because it's so easy that you were face guarding Brunson and he ain't touching the basketball, right? It's like,
well, you said you can't.
It's much easier on Milan than it is on Jalen Brunson.
Much easier.
Okay.
Just to be clear.
Okay.
Haters.
Just to be clear.
I got
peanut butter posse. I think a lot of people are with you. I wasn't rooting for the Knicks, but seeing their fans just made me. That's so backcourt.
Yeah, the only team that deserves anything good in New York is the Yankees. So everybody else is just.
Where is Brunson? There he is.
Maybe I can't hear the volume, but is it not backcourt if the ball never crossed? What's the rule?
I think they were saying that it was a missed call.
Oh boy!
Unfortunately,
because both feet were across, but the ball didn't.
I've got it on my other sport book.
OG! Oh my gosh!
Oh, I'm seeing it now.
Cal losing it. You see Cal? Box out. Find a body. Box out. Jeez.
Why they got Coach Cal on the TV? Makes me sad.
Yeah.
Damn. Didn't need that.
Man, OG come crashing in.
Unbelievable.
1.5 on the clock. They should add a little time.
I hated that from Brunson too, but it worked out.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a bad play call too. Crazy thing is, OG didn't even get a clear hand on the ball. He just barely tipped it in.
MSG just lost it. Well, what do we see here? What do we see here? Can you get a lob to Wemby at the rim? You got Robinson on him. You pull him out away from the pull him out.
You might be able to off a screen.
Foul.
They do off the screen because they can't really switch it. But you also, if they
did it. Oh, they went for the lob with Castle and did the pass get tipped? What happened? That is insane that we just watched.
That was
T, you're muted. T, you're muted.
great play call.
What you say? It was a great play call.
Castle was wide open.
Wide open.
You needed Jason Kidd to throw that lob. That one
What
that
happened? Did he get tipped? Because
Yeah.
wasn't even close.
Yeah, the
Okay.
inbound got tipped.
It's crazy to me.
Yeah.
The Spurs scored more in the first and second quarter, the first quarter, second quarter, than they did in the whole second half combined. Wild. 30 points in the second half, 41 in the first quarter, 35 in the second quarter. That loses you games.
Yeah,
That's the series right there.
it causes dead unders too.
They're gonna go ahead and finish this one in Texas.
I think you're right. That is such a gut punch when you're
Yes.
up damn near 30 and you lose in a game you had to have. Now, we
Yep.
talked about it before. This was the swing game. You had to have this one.
Yep.
Brand new series going back home, and then you let that happen. But damn, that was the right play. You just got to make that pass.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
I'm speechless. That was crazy.
That is crazy. I want to see the last play.
I think
Showing-
Cat maybe got a finger on it.
Smart to put him on the ball. Now we're probably not going to see it, but all right. Well, the last thing we got to talk about is the World Cup. We got a game Friday. Who we play? Paraguay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's a dub, right? We win that one. Are we favorites?
We should win it.
Yeah. Should win.
Well, I believe we're going to take it all the way. So,
All right. So a realistic. It's a really thin line. So realistic is that we get out of pool play and we win our first knockout match. Outstanding would be so that's what we should do. Outstanding would be if we won 2 knockout matches, which so obviously not a huge disparity there, but just USA has not had a lot of success in the World Cup. So 2 knockout wins, amazing tournament. 1 knockout win is the what we should do. So thin line there between good and great for us, but that's just kind of so. To me, the way it kind of is this this World Cup is kind of like the Big Ten. It's really top heavy. Spain, France, the same as Ohio State and Indiana and Oregon, but then the middle of the pack is pretty beatable. So it's not like the SEC where everybody is good. It's like the Big Ten where you're top heavy. So we don't have much of a chance to win it all, but we got a good chance depending on what our first round matchup is in the knockout round to win a game or 2.
So it's the getting out of pool play is based on points, right?
Correct. You get 3
Yeah.
points for a win and 1 point for a tie.
And then the goal differential plays too, right?
I think only if there's a tie.
Okay.
And the top 2 teams out of each group advance. Plus this year, because you've got 48 teams instead of 32, top 2 from each group advance, and then the top 8 third place teams will advance. So we've got yet another tournament with too many teams and bad games because money.
Well, I'm trying to find a video of the chant because I'm very disappointed in what we got going on. You had something I believe was working perfect. T, where'd you find that video? 'Cause I'm striking out over here.
I don't remember.
Oh, damn. Okay. Well, I'll spend another second looking for it, and if not, we'll move on. But Friday, what time's the game? Or match? What do you call it?
10 Eastern.
Yeah.
PM?
Yeah, 2200.
Oh, that's right, because it's out here on my side.
Yeah.
That's why. All right. Well, I'll be able to watch it at 7 and cheer on. It'll be the one time I'm a big soccer fan. World Cup and the Olympics. Oh my goodness! I still can't believe we just watched the Knicks win that game. That is insane, and seemingly the chip, because I don't see how the Spurs come back from that one. They were already in a hell of a hole, 0-2 on the road. You lose a game like that, that is tough. And I will say, yes, the Knicks fans super sucked after their loss to the Spurs.
We're gonna be bad tonight.
Well, I think the only thing that would have made New York City worse than Gotham would have been the Knicks losing, because they would have handled that well. That place would have been terrible. The worst of their fan base would have come out. Now it's just going to be a party, and
So
insane.
A bunch of people, and I myself was included in it. We're crowning Wemby, right? Like, hey, he's not there yet, but he's well on his way. This could potentially be a massive stain when it comes down to legacy talk, 20 years from now. Like, you were part of the team that gave up the largest finals comeback ever. That hurts.
Yep.
And were completely absent in the fourth quarter when they were making their run, and you couldn't step up. I mean, 2 free throws, you win the game. He makes the 2 free throws, you're up by a point. At the end of the day, it's a different outcome. Yeah, that's rough. That is rough. You go down 0-2, turnovers. But it could have been the complete opposite. They win today, and hey, Wemby goes down 0-2. He wills his team back to be 2-2. They go home, they win the championship like it's one of the greatest NBA final runs. And now you're right. Now that's a rough look.
Yeah, and I mean he's super young, so it's certainly like, if he does what we all expect him to do, he can still be there. But if you're trying to get in, if you're trying to break that top 3 stuff, and you're having to like split hairs, that's a hair that could be split.
Do you guys think that the Spurs? I'm not saying they will. Do you guys think the Spurs could win 3 in a row? Like, they've gotten out to great starts in every game. They've had leads. Yeah, they've choked them. Knicks are up 3-1. 2 of those games, if they were to win, would be at home. They just blew a 29-point lead. So
will.
All of the negatives are there, but there's also a lot of positives to where could they potentially pull 3 out in a row? I don't think so.
Could yes. Like mathematically,
the chance is not 0.
Yeah,
but you think it's over.
But also, I think we were kind of in agreement with Cat the first 2 games, but to Juice's point, it's not Cat anymore.
Yeah, he's gonna have to have a big time, I guess, game 5 and or game 6 if he wants to win Finals MVP, because the last 2 games he's been pretty quiet.
Yeah. So,
Well, they're down 29 in the first half without him. He comes in the second half and they make the run. So
True. That is true.
well, no, his presence on the court will always matter. Like,
Yeah.
like that's.
But to win Finals MVP, you got to be the dude. You got to be the one that helped your team win the series. Now he is responsible for Game 1 and Game 2 for sure.
yeah,
But I guess Game 3 might not matter in the grand scheme of things because they lost. Now it probably will go into effect. He didn't play his best, but
it will be Jalen Brunson. He's the face of the team. Like he's doing enough right now. The ball's in his hands at the end. You know, outside of
36 points. So
yeah, it will be Jalen Brunson. Through the first two games, Cat was clearly the best player on the court.
Unless Cat
most efficient,
for like 55 or can't miss from three or blocking shots and.
Mike Brown played 7 people off the bench, and combined outside of outside of Harper and a little bit of Johnson, who I think was 6th man of the year, right?
Yeah, but he's been awful in the playoffs. Really,
he hadn't been good. He played 18 minutes with 2 points. Dylan Harper played 32 minutes, but then Bryant and Cornette played a combined 9 minutes. So that's the other thing. Miss Johnson has no trust in his roster, in his bench, outside of the first 2 guys. And Mike Brown played 7 dudes off the bench.
And the problem is
a couple of them only played, a few minutes, but like I don't think the Spurs had the gas at the end either.
Yeah, and the problem is like at the 4 spot, they're not very big. It's like Devin Vassell and Keldon Johnson, both like 6'5", 6'6". And they can't really play Cornette and Wemby together. Bismack Biyombo, I mean, he hasn't – I don't even know if he's played all playoffs other than garbage time. Like, they can't really throw him out there. So, the Spurs minus Wemby, they're kind of a smaller team.
Well, they got Kelly Olynyk. They got one of those Plumlee brothers, and they got Bismack, but they're not going to play any of those dudes.
Yeah, and that's maybe a problem. Like, maybe they need more size. Now, the Knicks aren't very big either because Josh Hart is their 4, and he's like 6'5". So it kind of matches up that way, but the Spurs could give the Knicks a little bit of an issue if they had more size, but they can't do it. They could maybe play Cornette and Wemby together for 2 minutes, but that's about it.
I don't think Tim Duncan would have wanted to be the head coach.
And I think Pop pretty much had groomed and picked Mitch to be his predecessor. That I think it maybe ended a little earlier than he expected after the stroke, but I think that was always the plan. But Drew, to close out and answer your question, yes, Spurs could win it. They're not going to. And the 2 games at home and this game tell you exactly why. They come out hot. They can't close. It might be what T's talking about. There's no trust in depth, and these guys are just not able to have the legs at the end of the game to make shots. It took a special shot from De'Aaron Fox to close out a late run from the Knicks. And we talked from the beginning of the show, the youth that cost them the first 2 games could be the reason why they win 2 on the road. I think that youth crumbles after a loss like this, unfortunately. Like as much as Mitch Johnson or as the head coach has shown to be a dog on the sideline and galvanize. Wemby's done the same thing, get into the boys. I don't know how you give a pep talk and in 2 days gotta go play a game. We'll see. They might be able to get one. But if Knicks in 6, it could play out very well. I think they end it in San Antonio like team, but if the Spurs just kind of figure it out, can get a close win, Knicks gonna win this thing in 5 or 6. Unfortunately, after that loss,
Hammer, it's right there for us. It's right there for us.
We tried to tell them, Drew.
Yeah, only ball knowers.
I was one half away in a 29-point lead. It didn't happen, but
Josh asked me if I hit my bet. No, I did not hit my NBA bet because I was on the wrong side of that one. But we did cash out a little baseball tonight.
Okay,
nice.
There you go.
Very nice. All right, y'all. Well, we'll go ahead and we'll close out. We will see everybody on Happy Hour Saturday. T will hold your game over till Saturday. We'll play a little. T's got something.
Yeah, Drew. Just so you know, Rando hates fun because I tried to get us a game today and he wanted no parts of it. So he hates fun.
Hold on a second. I was getting ready to transition into game mode, and then we're all sitting here just stunned watching the TV. So
we wouldn't have been able to play it.
Why not?
Because you ex-nayed me, so I didn't bring my materials. I wasn't prepared. I was told nay.
Yeah,
that is not.
So Drew. So
I had
Drew
all this for the World Cup too, and we talked about. Let me see if I can find that chant. So
Yeah.
So whatever.
Rando hates fun, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Listen, it's not my fault. We had a hell of a game tonight. And listen, the World Cup doesn't end on Friday. We'll need something to talk about Saturday. We will start off the show.
Yeah, but it
half
starts
an hour
tomorrow.
Saturday. Did the conversation have to? Does your notes only focus on the start of
Yep, sure do. Yeah, and you ruined it.
Yep.
Hammer, would you like to talk about the World Cup? Because
nope, too late now. We're already hurt.
okay,
Fast.
third. Yep, you didn't care about it that much.
To enter a program because I'm suffering irreparable and damaging circumstances. So maybe I'll get another year.
We'll talk about World Cup Saturday. We'll play some games. I'm a big fun haver. All right, so don't believe what T over here. I enjoy the fun, not lies. I'm the most fun on this show, actually.
France, Spain, England, Argentina. That's your final four for the World Cup. That's free.
Okay.
Yep, with Brazil being an outlier, potential outlier.
Yep. And Germany. Brazil and Germany
USA.
also.
In the USA, if they change their chant back to what it was before.
Yep. No.
Y'all hating on Pulisic like you're hating on Will Stein.
I love
hating
Pulisic.
on Milan.
I went to Vegas to go watch Pulisic.
I will forever pull for the red, white, and blue, the stars and stripes. Always.
I'll wear my Captain America jersey on Saturday.
But I'm also a realist. And if you're going to bet money on the U.S. to win this World Cup, then give it to a homeless shelter or a animal shelter or send it to the Irish Hammer home for the Irish Hammer because it'll go to a lot better use than it will at a sports book.
Just sprinkle a little something on. What do you call it last Saturday? A little pizza money.
money.
Sprinkle a little something. Sprinkle a little something.
Yeah, you better put like the great value pizza money on it then because that's mitigate the damage.
I was gonna say Little Caesars pizza money, but they don't even do $5 hot and readies anymore.
I know, man. You can't even get that anymore.
No more $5 hot and readies. No more $5 footlongs.
Nope.
It's all bad.
No Jello pudding pops. What is the world coming to?
It's all gone. It's all gone.
Oh, wait, hold on. Pigskin Petey put a poll out there and a graphic about who was going to have the most Jello shots purchased for the College Baseball World Series. Let me give you some inside baseball right now. If there's a bet on that, you bet West Virginia. Not only does Morgantown like to party, Pat McAfee's going to be there Friday. I guarantee you he hands that bar a bunch of money to make sure West Virginia wins. So go put in Pigskin Petey's post. If you can get an offshore bet on that thing, who's going to win them, put a bunch of money on West Virginia. It's a no-fill bet. I'm telling you, I've seen Pat McAfee do it before. He will drop money, and all Morgantown drunk folks, that's all you can do in Morgantown, are going to travel to Omaha, and they're going to put a bunch of money on these Jello shots. The answer is the Mountaineers of West Virginia.
Yep.
Book it. All right, y'all. Appreciate everybody watching. Please go like, subscribe to all the channels. Everybody on the panel here, go follow them. Heavy Pour Sports on YouTube, Heavy Pour Sports on TikTok, Border Rivals HPS on X. Reshare our content. We appreciate it. We'll put out some clips. We will see you Saturday for the happy hour show. As always, go Cats.
Go Big Blue.
Go Big Orange.
And go Vols.
Spurs, you're killing me. Play the music. Hey!
On a whole nother level. Let's get it. Run it up. Check the scope. Money talk, money more. Yeah. Main crew say they weed it. Kicking down the door. Run it up. Check the scope. Money talk, money more. What? Main crew say they weed it. Kicking down the door. Let's go. And it's the whole lane when I'm driving the machine.